Let us continue our journey in this solving of MCQs of basic course in biomedical research. Now this is the 14th chapter, study plan and project management. Let us start with the first question. Which of the following statements regarding study objectives is correct? The options are A. Objectives should be defined at the planning stage of the study, or B. Objectives can be defined at any time of the study, or C. Objectives can be changed even at the end of the study, or D. Objectives should be defined before identifying the research question. So which of the following statements regarding the study objectives is correct? So one statement is correct, three are wrong. Let us see the options again. The objectives should be defined at the planning stage of the study. This is a correct statement. Objectives can be defined at any time is wrong statement because this cannot be done. It can be at any time is wrong. It cannot be done. Third statement, objectives can be changed even at the end. Can be changed even at the end. No, definitely not even. This is not the correct statement. The last statement, that the objective should be defined before identifying the question. No, only after the question is been identified, then you will plan the objectives accordingly. So even this is not the answer. So answer for this question is A, that is objectives should be defined at the planning stage of the study. Next question, which of the following is or are required to determine the key indicators for planned research study? The objectives are A, frame study objectives, B, identify the parameters needed for key indicators, C, choose the right study design, or D, all of the above. So which of the following is or are required to determine the key indicators for planned research study? Let us see the options again. A, framing study objectives. Yes, even this is correct. Second is identify the parameters needed for key indicators. Yes, even this is correct. Third is choose the right study design. Yes, this is correct. So all the above are correct. So we got the answer for this question. Next question. Which of the following can improve the efficiency of a research study? Options are A, time management, B, planning and scheduling activities, C, budgeting, or D, all of the above. Which of the following can improve the efficiency of a research study? So time management is necessary, planning is necessary, and scheduling the activities as per the plan. Finally, the budgeting is required. So all of the above are correct. Next question. Which of the following represents the correct sequence in a life cycle of a study? The options are, read the question carefully, identifying the data needs, then you have the formulating the study objectives, planning the analysis, and spelling out the research question, or formulating the study objectives, planning analysis, spelling out the research question, and identifying the data needs, or identifying the data needs, spelling out the research question, formulating the study objectives, and planning analysis. Finally, formulating the study objectives, spelling out the research question, identifying the data needs, and planning analysis. So, what is the which of the following represents the correct sequence in a life cycle of a study? So, you have to be, or all the readers should have a good idea regarding the life cycle of a study. As far as this question is concerned, the answer for this question is first is you identify the data needs. Yes, so either A or C should be there. Then second will be, after you identify the data needs, you spell out the research question. Okay, so this is the answer for our question. Answer option number C. Okay, option number C. After identification of data needs, spelling out the research questions, formulating the study objectives, and finally you have the planning analysis. Now see the information coming in the next chart. All of you please be perfect with this chart or this life cycle of a study. So the first option is, the first step is identifying the data needs. Okay, then next comes the spelling out the research questions, then next comes formulating study objectives, and next comes planning analysis. So this was a series which was actually asked in our question also. See, which of the following represents the correct sequence in the life cycle of a study? So these were the steps which were asked. The option number C was the correct answer from our question, And all of you please be perfect with these steps. The fifth one will be preparing the data collecting instruments. Sixth one will be collecting the data. Seventh will be analyzing the data. Eighth is drawing conclusions. Ninth is formulating recommendations. Then next comes the involving the program. So this is the life cycle of a study. And in this life cycle of the study, steps from 3 to 8 belong particularly to the analysis plan only, like formulating the study objectives, planning the analysis, preparing the data collection instruments, collecting data, analyzing data, and drawing conclusions. So any question or many questions can be asked from this life cycle of a study. This is the life cycle of a study. Okay, so all the people who are appearing for the BCBR exam, you should have a clear idea of all the steps. They may ask you otherwise, what is the first step? They may ask you, what is that last step? Or they may ask you, what comes after planning the analysis? They may ask you, what comes before analyzing the data? So any type of question can be framed from this chart. Next question, it should be ensured that products and deliverables of the health research projects are delivered within the what? Options are A, within the defined time frame, within the defined budget, within the expected quality standards, or all of the above. So what is the answer for this question? Let us see the question again. It should be ensured that products or deliverables of the health research products are delivered within the defined time frame. Yes, we know. Within the required or defined budget, yes, even this is correct. And also the expected quality, yes, even this is correct. So all of the following are correct. Now see the information given in this slide. Please go through the information given in this slide perfectly, because these are the principles of project management and any question can be asked. So let us see what does this slide say. To ensure that the defined objectives are met, this is regarding the principles of project management. To ensure that products and deliverables are delivered within the defined time frame, budget, and expected quality standards. So this was our question. So this was our question and we got the answer over here. Okay, so you please be perfect with all the 3 points pertaining to the principles of project management. Any question can be framed from this slide. Next question. Which of the following statements best describes the study objectives? Options are A, that they should be minimum, achievable and clear, or B, they can be primary or secondary, or C, adding objectives during study implementation is a good practice. So which of the following statements best describes the study objectives? So let us see the options again. They should be minimum, achievable and clear. Yes, definitely. They can be primary objectives or secondary objectives. Yes, even this is correct. Then adding objectives during study implementation is a good practice. No, during the study implementation you cannot add objectives. So this statement is wrong. So finally the answer for this question is option number D, that is A and B. A and B. See the information given in this slide. This slide shows regarding framing the study objectives. Okay, so which says that it is critical because it is, if the objectives are fewer then they are better. They may be mentioned as primary objectives and secondary objectives, and they should be clearly phased. That is, they have to be aimed at testing a hypothesis and they have to be aimed at measuring a quantity. So anything can be asked in the form of a question from this chart. As far as our question is concerned, they already mentioned that the objective should be minimum, achievable, clear, which is mentioned over here, that minimum, achievable and clear. Better the better. Sorry, fewer the better. Then the next option, that they can be primary or secondary. They can be primary or secondary is also given. So please remember this question and also the answer. Let us go to the next question. Next question. The principles to be followed while collecting the information elements are what? Options are A, you use the variables that will best reflect the information element, or B, adopt the standardized case definitions and laboratory criteria or normal ranges. Option C, Choose the most accurate ways of collecting the information on various elements. Or D, all of the above. Let us see the question and the options again. The principles to be followed while collecting the information elements are what? Options are A, that you use the variables that will best reflect the information element. Yes, definitely yes. Then you adopt the standardized case definitions and laboratory criteria and normal ranges. Yes, even this is correct statement. Then you choose the most accurate ways of collecting information on various elements. Yes, even this is correct. So therefore, all of the above are correct. This slide is showing the principles to be followed while collecting the information elements. Okay, it says that you use the variables that will best reflect the information element. It is important to review the available evidence. Then secondly, it says that you use validated or standardized methods and criteria. Thirdly, you adopt the standardized case definitions and laboratory criteria or normal ranges. Fourth one, you decide the most accurate way of collecting information on various elements. So all these, this was mentioned in our question, this is mentioned in our question, even this statement is mentioned in our question. So please be perfect with the principles to be followed while collecting the information elements. Anything can be asked from this list. We have this question and the answer is also available. Please go through the question again and also the answer. Let us go to the next question now. Study conducted following an ad hoc approach may lead to the following consequences. What are the options? Options are A, generation of useful data in programs or for policy making. B, efficient utilization of resources. C, serious difficulties in analysis and interpretation. Or D, all of the above. So the study conducted following an ad hoc approach may lead to the following consequences. Let us see the options again. Generation of useful data in programs or for making or for policy making, yes, this is correct. Then efficient utilization of resources is also correct. Serious difficulties in analysis and interpretation is also correct. So therefore all of the above are correct. Let us see the next question. Common reasons for research study failures are what? Options are A, poorly defined research questions, or B, vague timelines, or C, lack of supervision, or D, all of the above. Let us see the question again. The common reasons for research study failures are what? Poorly defined research question, yes, definitely this is one of the cause. Vague timelines, yes, even this is correct. And lastly, lack of supervision also correct. So therefore, all the above are correct. See this slide regarding the common reasons for study failures. First one is badly defined research question and objectives. Second is unrealistic time scales. Third is inappropriate and incomplete staffing. Fourth is inadequate monitoring. So all these four can be asked as a question. As far as our present question is concerned, they have mentioned poorly defined research question. Yes, see badly defined research question. This was put in our question. Second one is vague timelines, even unrealistic timelines. So even this was asked in our present question. And third one is lack of supervision, the inadequate monitoring, even this was asked. So all these things were present in our present question. So the common reasons for research study failures, please remember the information given in this slide. Then now we will go to the next question. Next question. Sample size for cross-sectional study is decided based on the following. Sample size. They are speaking regarding sample size for a cross-sectional study. Chalo. What are the options? A, assumed or reported prevalence. B, confidence interval. C is acceptable precision. Or D, all of the above. Assumed and reported prevalence is definitely this is correct. Confidence interval is also correct. So therefore acceptable precision. Therefore all of the above are correct. Please remember the question and also the answer for this question. Then next question. Which of the following is a criterion for a good research question? Options are A, long and self-explanatory question using complex terms. B, a question based on ill-defined hypothesis. C is a question based on strong hunch on part of the investigator. Or D, a question based on established theory and some research evidence. So what is the answer for this question? Let us see the question again. Which of the following is a criterion for a good research question? Let us see the options. Long and self-explanatory question using complex terms? Definitely not. Why will you use long questions and self-explanatory questions? If the answer is present in the explanation itself, there is no point in questioning. Second is a question which is based on ill-defined hypothesis? Definitely not. Third one, a question based on a strong hunch on a part of the investigator? Definitely not. So definitely option number D is correct. That is a question based on established theory and some research evidence previous available. So this is the answer for our question. Now let us go to the next question. Next question. Which of the following can be considered true in case of ad hoc approach to conduct a research study? Options are A. Its advantages are the low development effort and possibility of getting results in a short time span. B. That its advantage is that the accuracy of the results is very high. Or C. Sorry, both A and B are correct. Let us see the options again. The advantages are the low development effort and possibility of getting results in a short span of time. Yes, this is correct statement. Second statement, that is advantage that the accuracy of the results is usually high. What is usually is not usually. So this is not the statement, or this is not the answer in this question. So therefore the only true statement from this question is that the advantages are that the low development effort and possibility of getting results in a short span of time is the answer for this question. Next question. A cross-sectional study is carried out to examine whether naval medical personnel of a higher rank have more positive coping skills than those of a lower rank. So which of the following statement is true regarding this study? Options are A. Neither variable is dependent as the researcher cannot manipulate them. B. The independent variable is rank and the dependent variable is coping skills. Or C. The independent variable is coping skills and the dependent variable is the rank. So if this question is asked in the examination, cross-sectional study you are doing, okay, to examine whether the naval personnel of higher rank. So what is this rank? Rank is an independent variable actually, okay, rank is independent variable having more positive coping skills than those of a lower rank. So rank is independent, okay. So the answer for this question is option number B, that is the independent variable is the rank, whereas the dependent variable is coping skills. Coping skills is dependent. Now, next question. Which of the following techniques is preferentially used when the population is finite? Excuse me. Options are A. Purposive sampling technique. B is area sampling technique. C is systematic sampling technique. So which of the following techniques is preferentially used when you have a finite population? Let us see the options again. Purposive sampling technique? No. Area sampling technique? No. Systematic sampling? Yes. You do systematic sampling. Yes. So we got the answer for this question. Why systematic sampling technique? Because in systematic sampling, we should know the principle. What was the principle in systematic sampling? The principle was that a unit is drawn in every k units. If you can remember, we had an example where a number of houses were there, where every eighth house was selected. Why was it done? It was done, it would have been possible only if you have a finite number. Like if you have a certain number of houses, and among them if you select every eighth house, that was an example what we actually spoke in that chapter. So every eighth house was selected systematically. So this is systematic sampling technique, where the principle will be like a unit will be drawn in every k units. So that was the principle. And what is the advantage of it? That advantage is that there will be equal chance of being drawn for each unit. Another big advantage of the systematic sampling technique is that it is easy. It is easy to implement. You please remember this point also. And it ensures representativity across the whole list. Like this number of finite people or the finite participants population, it ensures correct representativity. Okay, so this is the advantage of this is another advantage of systematic sampling. So please remember this question and also the answer for this question. Next question. A study began in 1980 with the enrollment of a group of 7,000 adults in Pondicherry who were asked about their alcohol consumption, smoking, diet, environmental risk factors, etc. So all the participants were periodically examined and evaluated for evidence of various types of cancers between 1990 and 1995. So which of the following study designs was used by the investigators? Options are A, case control study, B is prospective cohort study, C is ecological study, or D is retrospective cohort study. This study was began in the year 1980. Please remember this point from this question, and they have enrolled 7,000 adults. Okay, so all the participants were periodically examined and evaluated for the evidence of various types of cancers between 1990 to 1995. They have started in the year 1980 and still they are periodically examining and evaluation is going on between 1990 to 1995. So which of the following study designs? So started in 1980, still going forward. It's a very long study. Okay, so this is what prospective type of study. What type of prospective study? Cohort study. Okay, so this is prospective type of cohort study. So this is the answer for our question. Okay, chalo. Next question. An increased number of post-operative wound infections were recorded in patients who underwent incision appendectomy and compared with those who had a laparoscopic procedure. Which of the following statements is or are true in such a scenario? Options are A. This association may simply be owing to the presence of a confounding factor, or B. Association between the two can be better studied in randomized controlled clinical trials, or option C, that both A and B are correct. When this question, if asked in the examination, I am circling it, an increased number of post-operative wound infections were recorded in patients who underwent incisional appendectomy versus laparoscopic procedure. If this question comes in the examination and if these are the options, you straight away put away option number C as the answer. That is both A is correct, B is correct. A is what? That the association may simply be owing to the presence of a confounding factor. B is that association between the two can be better studied in a randomized controlled clinical trials. Okay, you put the answer and forget. Let us go to the next question. Now this is the next question. In a study to evaluate the effectiveness of a new medication, which of the following will generate a stronger evidence? The options are A. Comparing outcomes among those receiving medications with those not receiving the same, or B. Comparing outcomes among those receiving higher doses of medication with those receiving the lower doses, or C. Comparing adverse events and drug reactions among those receiving medications and those not receiving the medications, or all of the above. Once again, we will read the question thoroughly. You understand the question. In a study to evaluate the effectiveness of a new medication, which of the following will generate a strong evidence? Let us see the options again. Comparing the outcomes among those receiving the medications with those not receiving the medications. So this is a correct statement. Second is comparing the outcomes among those receiving higher doses of medications than those with receiving lower doses of medications. So even this is a correct statement. Third one is comparing the adverse events and drug reactions among those receiving medications and those not receiving the medications is also a correct statement. So therefore answer is all of the above. Please remember this question and also the answer. Next question. Small objectives are goals that are designed to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant and time bound. So which of the following is an illustration of a non-measurable objective? The options are A. Incidence of colorectal cancers in Indian adult men, or B. Experiences shared by victims of domestic violence, or C. To determine if regular skin emollients applied from 2 weeks of age reduce the development of atopic dermatitis by age 12 months in a general infant population. So which is not measurable? It is easily understood from the question and the options that you cannot measure the experiences which is shared by victims of a domestic violence. Okay, so this is a variety question. Please remember the question and also the answer. Next question. Validity of a research can be improved by what? Options are A, taking the true representative sample of the population, or B, eliminating the extraneous factors and collecting detailed information on the confounding factors, or option C, that both A and B are correct. Let us see the options again. Validity of a research can be improved by taking the true representative sample of the population is a true statement, and you eliminate the extraneous factors and collecting detailed information on confounding factors. Even this is correct. So therefore option number C is correct. Option number C is correct. Next question. Which of the following is the reason for the failure of a study? Options are A, poorly stated research question, B, unrealistic timeline, C is inadequate supervision, or D, all of the above. Let us see the question again. Which of the following is the reason for failure of a study? The options are A, is it poorly stated research question? Yes. Unrealistic timelines? Yes. Inadequate supervision? Yes. So all of the above. See, this question we have done previously. In this chapter, go back to question number 9. We have done a different type of question, a different question of the same category. Please go there and read the explanation. We have discussed in detail regarding the reason for failure of a study. Now let us go to the next question. The next question is as follows. Which of the following represents the correct sequence in the life cycle of a study? The options are 1, developing the research question, B is planning the data analysis, C is data collection, and D is data analysis. Again, see the options of A, B, C, D. Let us see what comes first. Definitely developing of the research question comes first. So 1, okay. Then planning the data analysis also comes next, okay. Third is data collection, lastly final analysis. Yes, so 3 and then 4 comes in this way. So the answer for this question is option number B. Option number B, okay. We have spoken regarding the life cycle of a study. Please go back to the discussion in this chapter where we have spoken regarding the life cycle of a study, and you have to become perfect with all the steps, which comes first and which comes next. Now let us go to the next question. Which of the following is not essential for effective planning and management of a study? Options are A, time management, B, financial management, C is reduction of sample size, or D is teamwork. So which is not essential? So 3 are essential, 1 is not essential. Let us see the options again. Time management is essential. Financial management is essential. Reduction of sample size, no, this is a wrong step. This is not essential. Teamwork is essential. So the answer for this question is option number C, that is reduction of sample size is not essential for effective management effective planning and management of a study. Now the next question. Which of the following is to be followed while collecting the information elements? The options are A, use of variables that best reflects the information element, or B, standardized case definitions, or C, use of validated and standardized methods, or D, all of the above. So which of the following is to be followed while collecting the information elements? Let us see the options again. Use of variables that best reflects the information element. Yes, this is correct. B is standardized case definitions. Yes, even this is correct. Use of validated and standardized methods is also correct. So therefore all the above are correct. All the above are correct. Next question. State whether true or false. Framing several study objectives improves the study planning and management. Is this a true statement or a false statement? Framing several study objectives improves the study planning and management. It is a false statement. It is a false statement. Why is it a false statement? Because framing the study objectives, if the objectives are fewer, then it will be better. We have seen this previously. But in our question, they have asked framing several study objectives. If many objectives are there, then will it improve the study? No, it will not improve the study planning and management. Because fewer the better. Please recollect and try to read this chart again, because any question may be asked of this category, or if or of this type. Okay. Then next question, state whether true or false. Selection of study design should be related to the objectives. Is it true or false? Selection of study design should be related to the objectives. Yes, definitely it is a true statement. Definitely it is a true statement. The next question. A postgraduate wants to do a community-based thesis. So which of the following is a part of the planning and program management of the study? The options are A. Calculating the sample size. B is arranging transport to the community. C is writing the thesis, or D all of the above. So a postgraduate wants to do a community-based thesis. Which of the following is a part of the planning and program management? Let us see the options. Calculating the sample size, yes, definitely. Then arranging transport to the community is also. Writing the thesis is definitely yes. So therefore all the above are correct. Next question. Which of the following can be used to represent the duration, timeline, and sequence of activities and milestones of a research project? So which of the following can be used to represent the duration, timeline, and sequence of activities and milestones of a research project? Options are A. Bar chart, B is histogram, C is Gantt chart, or D is pie chart. So the answer for this question is C, Gantt chart. C, Gantt chart. Okay. Please remember the question and the answer. Next question. Who is primarily responsible for resource allocation and time management in a study? Options are A. Institute where the research is conducted, or sorry, B. A principal investigator, or C. Funding agency, or D. Scientific committee. So, who is responsible for resource allocation and time management? The answer is that the principal investigator is responsible for resource allocation and time management in a study. Then let us see the next question. Project management is to ensure that the defined objectives are adequately met. Is it a true statement or a false statement? It is definitely a true statement. See, if you can remember the slide of project management we have spoken previously, I will again show you the slide. Just see over here. See the slide of these principles of project management. The first statement itself will say to ensure that the defined objectives are met. As far as our question is concerned, the question was project management is to ensure that the defined objects are adequately met. So it was a true statement what we have taken into consideration. Okay. Chalo. So please remember the question and also the answer for this question. Now see this question. In project management, what does the acronym SMART stand for in the context of setting the objectives? Let us see the options. Options are A. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound, or option B. Simple, manageable, actionable, realistic, timely, or option number C. Strategic, meaningful, accessible, resourceful, targeted, or option number D. Sustainable, methodological, then you have attainable, reliable, and thorough. So all the words used are good words, but as far as project management is concerned, what does the acronym SMART stand for? Acronym SMART stands for option number A. That is, it should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. We have similarly finer criteria. At the start of this course itself, we have spoken regarding what is finer criteria. Finer is what? Feasible, interesting, novel, ethical, and then relevant. Okay. So similarly, you have the SMART criteria also. The SMART criteria in our biomedical research is once again specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So please remember the question and also the answer. Now the next question. Project management requires what? Options are A. Resource allocation and management. B. Time management. C is efficient and expedient processes. And D is all of the above. So the project management requires resource allocation management, time management, efficient and expedient process. So therefore the answer is all the above. See the information in the coming chart. This chart shows the principles of project management. See the middle part. Resource allocation and management has been put as an option in our question. Time management was given as an option. Efficient and expedient progress to achieve the goal has been put as an option. So we took the answer as all of the above. Okay. This is not process, this is progress. Chalo. Next question. The critical aspect in the process of project management is what? Options are A. Planning and scheduling the activities. B. Implementation. C is evaluation and D is rescheduling. So the critical aspect in the process of project management is planning and scheduling the activities. We have in the previous question we have spoken regarding the principle of project management. Let us see it again. In this, the critical part in this principles of project management will be planning and scheduling activities. Okay, so you please remember this answer and this question and this answer is important. Next question. The roadmap to study planning and management involves formulating appropriate objective for the study. This is definitely a true statement. This is definitely a true statement. The roadmap to study planning and management involves formulating the appropriate objective for the study is a true statement. Then next question. You identify the information elements that will be used to calculate the individuals. When you are calculating the individuals, what are you supposed to identify the elements? So options are A. Numerator, B. Denominator, C. Substitution, and D is both A and B. You definitely want numerator. Denominator is mentioned. Substitution is not mentioned. So answer is A plus B. A plus B. See the information coming now. Identification of information needed to calculate the indicator. See the middle statement. To identify the information elements that will be needed to calculate the indicators, numerators and denominators are required. Okay. You please remember the information given in this chart. Next question. In biomedical research, what does IRB stand for? Options are A. Is it International Research Bureau? Or B. Institutional Review Board? Or C. Integrated Research Board? Or D. Independent Review Board? We all know this question has been asked multiple times. IRB stands for Institutional Review Board. So the answer is option number B. Next question. Dash helps to avoid the comparison for which the study has not been designed. Options are A. Covariant, B. Sampling, C is analysis plan, and D is outcome. So what helps to avoid the comparison for which the study has not been designed? Answer is C. Analysis plan. Analysis plan. See this slide regarding the advantages of making an analysis plan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 statements have been mentioned. See the third statement. It helps to avoid the comparison for which the study has not been designed. So this has been put in our question. Okay, this statement was put in our question. Please remember the question and the answer and also this chart regarding the advantages of making an analysis plan. Next question. The reasons for study failure are unrealistic timescales. Is this a true statement or a false statement? We have seen this in the previous questions. This is a true statement. Please go back to question number 9. We have discussed in detail regarding the reasons for the study failure. Please go there and review again. The next question. What does research dissemination refer to? The options are A. Collecting the data, B. Sharing the research findings with the community, C is conducting the interviews, or D is analyzing the data. So what does research dissemination refer to? It refers to option number B, that is sharing research findings with the community. Sharing the research findings with the community. So the next question. State whether true or false. Time management essentially is the responsibility of the leader. Is it a true statement or a false statement? Yes, in research studies, time management is definitely a responsibility of the leader only. So it is a true statement. Now next question. Oh, once again, true or false? The amount of funding is the factor which decides the study design to conduct a health research. Is it a true statement or a false statement? The amount of funding is the factor which decides the study design to conduct a health research is definitely a false statement. If this question directly comes in the examination, put as false, don't put as true. Okay. The next question. Which of the following stage is most appropriate to define the responsibilities to conduct a health project? Which stage? Options are A, planning stage, or B, initiation stage, or C, conducting stage, or D, any time of the study. So which stage is most appropriate to define the responsibilities to conduct a health project? The answer is that planning stage is important. Okay, so option number A is the answer for this question. Next question. Inadequate supervision of field activity will result in which of the following? A, forceful revision of study objectives. B, generation of low quality data. C, saving in the allocated fund. Or D, both A and B. So what is the answer for this question? The inadequate revision of field activity will result in low quality data. Definitely. Option number B is the answer for this question. Next question. All of the following are advantages of having an analysis plan except what? So options are A, analyzable information is collected. B, early dissemination of study results. C is helps to avoid the comparison not related to the subjects. Or D is good quality data can be obtained. Except what? See, you have to remember the advantages of analysis plan. There was a chart. We will go through it again. Let us see the options again. Analyzable information is connected. Yes, correct. Early dissemination of results. Yes. Helps to avoid the good comparison. Yes. Not related to the subject. So answer is D. Good quality data can be obtained is except answer. Let us see the chart again. See the advantages of making an analysis plan. Okay. From our options given, analyzable data is collected. This was given as an option. This was given as an option. Second one is early dissemination of results. Early dissemination of results. Okay, because you are saving time. So even this is an option. Third thing was helps to avoid comparison not related to the objectives. This one. Okay, not helps to avoid. So please go through all the points given in the advantages of making an analysis plan. A question may be framed in this way also. Next question. Gantt chart is useful in the following aspects with respect to the study plan and project management. What are, let us see the options. A, to develop the initial project schedule. B, report the study progress. C, demonstrate milestones. Or D, all of the above. Gantt chart is useful in the following aspects. Let us see the options again. Develop the initial project schedule. Yes, definitely true. To report the study progress. Yes, even this is correct. Demonstrate the milestones. Yes, even this is correct. So all of these are correct. If this question comes in the examination, directly put answer all the above. Next question. State whether true or false. Ad hoc method is the best method in project implementation and management. Ad hoc method. Definitely not. Definitely not. So therefore, this is a false statement. Next question. Which of the following is not true about project implementation? Not true. Okay. Options are A. Having a standard operating procedure is not a prerequisite for military-centric studies. B. Collecting analyzable information should be a prerequisite. Validated methods should be used for collecting data. And D is conducting regular project review meetings improves the project implementation. So which is not true about project implementation? Having a standard operating procedures is not a prerequisite for multi-centric studies is not a true statement, because having a standard operating procedure is actually a requisite. So they have mentioned in not in this sentence and made this as a false statement. Okay. Then other statements that collecting analyzable information should be a prerequisite is correct. Validated method should be used is also correct. And conducting the regular project review meetings improves the project implementation is also a correct statement. Okay. So this is how a question is being made. Don't get confused. Read the options thoroughly. Then next question. Which of the following is not a part of a project management? Not a part. Chalo. Options are A, time management, B, resource allocation, C, monitoring and supervision, or D, protocol development. So what is the answer for this question? We have time management is necessary, resource allocation is necessary, monitoring and supervision is necessary, but not protocol development. So this is the answer for this question. See these attention points in the project management. Everybody, please go through and mug up this chart. The points in the project management. It mentions regarding time management from our question. It mentions regarding resource allocation from our from our question, resource management. Then third is monitoring and supervision have also been spoken in this point. Okay. So in our question, time management, resource allocation, monitoring. So all are being mentioned from our question. Rest of the things can be asked in some other question if at all they frame such type of question. So therefore you have to put a good, you should have a good knowledge or some knowledge regarding the attention points or study, attention points in study or project management. Okay. Chalo then. Next question. Which of the following is false regarding the project management? False. Options are A, the timeline for the project should not be too long or too short. B, having high budget will always result in successful project completion. Or C, lack of training to field investigators is one of the reasons for study failure. Or D, having vague objectives will result in the project failure. So which of the following is false regarding the project management? So that means three statements are true and one is false. Let us see the options again. The timeline for the project should not be too long or too short. Yes, this is correct. Having high budget will always result in successful project completion. What is always is not always, so therefore this is the answer. Having high budget will always result in successful project completion is the false statement. The other two statements, lack of training to field investigators is one of the reasons for study failures is also a true statement. Then having vague objectives will definitely result in project failure. Yes, even this is a true statement. Chalo then. Let us see the final question. In a research cycle, okay, which of the following step lies between formulating the study objectives and preparing the data collection instruments? So for this, to answer this question, you have to be perfect with the life cycle of a study. Okay, in the research cycle, we have spoken this in the initial questions from this chapter. Please go through the chart or the life cycle of the study and be perfect, become perfect with that chart. Let us see the options. Options are A, data collection, B, data cleaning, C, data analysis plan, and D is data analysis itself. So in a research cycle, which of the following step lies in between the formulating the study objects and preparing the data collection instruments? The answer is data analysis plan. Data analysis plan. Now see, the planning the data analysis lies in between formulating the study objectives and preparing the data collection instruments as mentioned in our question. So this is the answer for our question. Okay. As I told you, everybody should be perfect with this chart of life cycle or the cycle of the study plan. Hello. So finally, with this we come to the completion of this chapter. I wish happy reading for all the students. Thank you.